You have one job with manifestation. And today in this video, we are going to talk about the you have one job manifestation technique, which is a bypass to the old character into the new, in the now moment, with amazing focus and attention while having so much fun. Because your one job as the consciousness is to realize itself in physical form in whatever it is that you've commanded. So you're at this point now where you were in a reality, maybe not of your choosing. And now through this manifestation journey, you're learning how to choose. And then you're looking around and you're going, well, where is it? Where is it? Why isn't it happening? Why isn't it happening? Because you've forgotten who you are. And we're going to remind you of that today. But as we break down this fun, you have one job manifestation technique, there's a whole bunch of yous and there's a whole bunch of one jobs of the you that you think that you are. You think you're a human, you think you're one body, and that you, whatever this you is moving this body through time and space. But we're going to debunk that today to give you a clearer understanding of what's really going on here. Not that you need it, but when you use this, you have one job bypass technique, and you bring yourself more focused and aware in the now moment, you're going to have such an amazing benefit. I'm not going to give it away right now because I want you to kind of play along as we go along this beautiful journey. But I want you to understand that really your one job as a manifestor, as a conscious manifestor, it's not about the stuff. It's not about the experiences. It's not about the relationships. It's about you realizing you're the source. You're the I am. You're the beginning and the ending. And when we start to realize that, and we can use this beautiful, and I'm going to say it again, bypass technique. I love bypass techniques. We have them in everyday life as humans, right? There's steps and elevators. And to say that it's okay to take an elevator in real life, but you can't do bypasses in energy work or spiritual work because you got to do the work, well, then I'm going to challenge those people to never take an elevator again because you got to do the work. You got to go up all the steps. But if what we're doing here elevates you, puts you in that elevator, and you're able to elevate yourself to the reality of now what's chosen, even though it's going to look a lot like this, when you do this technique, I'm so excited about this technique, because of the extra focus in the now moment, you're going to start to discover things that were there that were never there before. I gave a little teaser, so I wasn't going to say something, but a little teaser there. So welcome to the channel. This is the Invincible CEO Wish Fulfilled Playground. My name is Dede Povernick, and I am the Invincible CEO. And I'm here to help you make clear, concise, certain choices in the now moment, so that once you choose and you know that you've chosen, there's no doubt, feel, or what. Let's try that again. There's no doubt, fear, or wobble because you know what you've chosen and you know who you really are and how this all works. So if you are interested in learning how to work with me one-on-one, I have one-off sessions, I have one-on-one programs, I have a group program starting mid-October. I also have digital products. Go to theinvincibleceo.com and go to our store and all the wonderful options of how to work with me. I'm having so much fun in my sessions with everyone and in our 2-day events that I look forward to working with you, because manifestation, I'm going to say it, is simple, easy, and fun. You don't have to really understand what's going on, but I understand that you want to, and that helps you. But the reason why I'm doing all of this is because I truly haven't said it in a while. So I'm going to say it here. I want to see you win. I want to see you win big. I want to see you win all the time. And I want you to become this next level master manifestor, that it's not about the stuff. It's not about the 3D circumstances. It's about what we're about to uncover today. Now, this is our community chosen video of the week. Every week, I put up 3 options for the community to vote on YouTube. And this was our winning video. I'm really excited about it. And there's a reason why I changed the winning video from dropping on Friday to Tuesday, because what I decided is that what the community chosen video is on Tuesday, it's going to kind of be a 1-2 punch, because we go live on the channel on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that I'm going to start the conversation here with the winning video and then really open it up and take a deeper dive in the Q&A session so that you can watch this video on Tuesday, come to the live on Wednesday and bring your questions so that if there's any more clarity needed, that you'll have it. And you're going to be given some homework today for you to do between now and the live tomorrow. And I'm going to need a volunteer to go live with me for about 10 minutes. We're going to do a fun technique that kind of bounces off this one of bringing you more present in the now moment. And in addition to like 0 point and some of the other things that we've discussed, this technique today and then tomorrow's technique are really, like I said, a 1-2 punch. But I want you to start saying to yourself, satisfied and complete. I want you to start feeling little moments of satisfaction and completeness, because we've talked about closing out loops. And when you're satisfied and complete, your subconscious knows, because it's always on, it's always aware, it's always watching. And today, if I get my way, and I always do, because I always get what I want plus more, you are going to really know who you really are, and you're not going to ever forget that again, because in this remembrance, the light bulbs are going to go off. And when they do, I want you to comment. I want to hear, I've asked a few people in our private group, and the link, if you haven't joined our private group, is in the description box below. I'm like, guys, why aren't you commenting more? And they're like, we're so engrossed in what you're saying. So let me remind you to comment a little bit more, because I really do love the feedback. I love to see how this is resonating with you. So I appreciate you deeply. If you haven't taken a moment, like, subscribe, share. And now, with no further ado, you have one job. You have one job. You have one job. Okay. All right. So I want you to find something around you that, as we're doing this, you can play. And so let me give a little tiny bit of background about the one job. Your one job, besides being a powerful manifestor, what I said earlier, but there's a whole bunch of yous. I'm from Philly, yous guys. There's a whole bunch of yous in there. And with this, you think you're one body, one consciousness moving through time and space with this body you call you. But let's think about this for a second. You've never really seen you. You have no clue what you really look like. You think you do. Remember when we said we've never thought a thought ever, because our thoughts are echoes that come into our consciousness echo chamber, and we have to identify with them. Right. And as I'm recording this, my one job right now is to record this winning video for you guys. And I think I'm killing it. Don't you think I got one job, is to deliver this video the best, because I'm always doing the best I can for where I'm at. We talked about that before, but one job. So that means I'm not going to go make a sandwich right now, or I'm not going to go do cardio. Actually, just got back from the gym. I got one job, and I know what my one job is right here, right now. But I'm going to say to you that I'm going to ask you right now, how many Dedes are in front of you right now? How many Dedes are in front of you right now? Because there's infinite. We can say billions, trillions, gazillions, whatever number you want to make. But to make things simpler, you see one. You see one Dede. And when we talk about the one jobness of things, so let's review some of the things that we've already talked about on this channel. So right now, not only am I recording, I got one job to record this video for you, but there's also another version of Dede that has one job, and she's sitting. The sitting Dede never stands. She has one job. She sits. And there's always variations of the one job, right? Because there's this version of me sitting here on my yoga stool. There's a version of me that sits on beds. There's a version of me that sits on floors. There's a version of me that sits in cars. But when they are the sitting version and they're the variations, right? Because there's always going to be variations of the one. The sitting me never stands. The sitting me never lies down. The sitting me never walks. She has one job, and she killed. Let's give her a round of applause. She's killing it right now, because she has never sat like she has sat before. This is the ultimate sitting Dede ever, and you're here to witness it. How freaking lucky are you? How cool is that, right? I saw you smile. Don't smile. Don't smile. Okay, because the smiling you, that's all she ever does is smiles, or he or they. That's all you ever do. And the you that frowns or is angry, that's all their job is. And there's this sort of line of versions of you, and they're all waiting for their turn to come up in that split second, because they get 1 second, right? If there's 1 minute, there's 60 versions of you. And sometimes, like I said, they're layered over top of each other, like the recording of the video Dede and the one that's sitting, because I could be recording video Dede and standing, and that's going to be coming soon. But when you realize that each version of you has one job, and in some of the tasks that you do, multiple versions of you have to show up in order to complete the task. So let's think about the walking you, right? Let's kind of break this down of how many versions of you do you think there are? And we could really break it down into micro versions. I always think about the people who have to write directions for like the stuff that we get, how to put it together, how to assemble it, because you really have to break down every step. But let's say you're already standing, so you are animating, right? You are the breath, you are the energy, you are the source of energy or breath that is animating the standing you. And then there's a decision to walk, whether it's a conscious one or the body just starts moving because it's what's required in that moment, right? Because sometimes it's a conscious decision, sometimes it just happens. And let's say when you start to walk, you lift your left leg and foot first. So the version of you that's standing now steps aside, and the version of you that lifts their leg comes to the front. And then the version of you that puts the left foot down is a very different version than the standing you and the version of you that lifted the leg. So the version of you that put the left leg down, and then there's the version of you that starts to pick the right leg up, the version of you that has it midair, and the version of you that puts the right leg down. And this repeats over and over seamlessly, automatically. You don't have to think about it. You're not like in the Dr. Seuss book, left foot, left foot, right feet in the morning and feet at night. Read that book so many times with my kids. Love that book though. So when you start to understand or become really aware in the now moment that there's not just one body and one you, that if we were to video you, and I will have this for tomorrow's live, I'll do a little videotape, and we break down each frame as its own reality, and each character that has one job, they have one job in that reality, that's all they do. So the version of you that jumps isn't the version of you that lands, because jumpers jump and landers land. And the version of you that seeks never finds, because that's why we don't want to be a seeker of anything. We want to be the finder of it. It's the implication. But now let's have some fun. I want you to pick something around you that you can play with. So I have this beautiful dark chocolate candy bar that I got for my birthday. Thank you, Adina, once again. And I'm going to give you a command. So it could be your phone, it could be a water bottle, it could be a pen, it could be anything. But just have it nearby that you can reach out for it. Okay. So I'm going to give you a command. You're going to act out the command, and then we're going to talk about how many versions of you there were that prior to this, you just thought it was you, this one body, this human being, this consciousness that does the thing, but we're going to break it down. Okay. So I've kind of told you what it is. And now I'm going to have you reach out to whatever's around you and pick it up. Look at it. However you want to do it, you do it your way. Look at it. Oop, and then put it back down. Oop, put it back down. Okay. Now, that didn't take very long, right? Probably a little bit longer because we were playing around. So let's do it one more time, like it would just be something you would be doing without me instructing you to do it. So I'll count to 3, and you're going to do it again. 1, 2, 3. Done. Now, you didn't realize during that time you've turned into a physics professor, you've turned into a #1 mathematician, and we could put all the formulas of how much energy was needed to reach out to it and pick it up and look at it and move it around and all the angles, and then being able, like brilliantly, you knew how to put it down so that it didn't slam, that it didn't break, that you didn't miss, right? So all these calculations, if we had all the fun graphics to put here in the video of all around you, and as you're moving, and boom, you're a master at picking things up and putting them down and work out. Okay. All right. So let's think about this now. So let's like rewind a little bit and go into this. So I at first, the version of you that started all this was the version of you that was listening, right? Because I had to give you instructions ahead of time. And then there's a version of you that was not only listening, but the version of you that understood what I was saying. And then once you understood what I was saying, then the version of you had to agree to do it, because I'm sure there's someone there just sitting there going, I'm not doing it. Nope, not going to do it. She's not the boss of me, not doing it. Nope. But then you secretly did it. We know you did, but that's okay. All right. So the version of you that chose to do it, and then the version of you that heard the command, then there's a version of you that started to move and reach. So there's a version of you that reached out for it. There's a version of you that you will say grabbed it. Then there's a version of you that lifted it up. Then there's a version of you that looked at it, whether you used one hand or like me, you used two, right? And these are all little mini decisions going on, whether you decide to bring another hand in, whether you decide to do it with one hand, how you move it around. They're all versions of you, because the version of you holding this is not the same version that decided to do it. The version of you that decided to do it was not holding it at the time. And then there's a version of you that started to lower it. And then there's a version of you that brought it down. There's a version of you that released it. So just like a flow chart that we could create, all those versions, the moment that you decided, they all lined up in a row. And it's a very linear progression that we're aware of that happened. And this is for everything you're doing all day long. You're just moving through frames. Now, I'm going to say to you that you're none of those, but yet you're all of them. But they all have one job, and they all executed their one job amazingly. And it happened so quickly that it looked like just something that's not a big deal. Not a big deal when you just go and do it. That's automatic. And that's what reality creation was prior to you becoming a conscious creator. But when we start to bring consciousness in the now moment, we start to slow things down, because we're expanding the consciousness of our awareness in the now. We're no longer on autopilot. You got one job: to be aware in the now moment as the observer. And you, the real you, the breath of life, the energy of life, whichever one you want to decide that you are, you can be a hybrid of both, are animating each of the one job versions. So you, the real you, are jumping as the energy or the breath from frame to frame to frame, assuming the identity of the version of you in all the different movements. Right now, I'm assuming all the identities, and I'm doing it so quickly that my conscious mind up until this point wasn't aware of what was happening until it is. But it doesn't have to be aware for it to happen. That's why your conscious awareness of it being here or not being here really doesn't make a difference, because it's the subconscious's domain to move what appears to be moving the character, because it's the subconscious, your higher self, that is breathing the life into all of the versions of you. And your job as the conscious outside version gives instant feedback to the subconscious on what's wanted and unwanted, and other choices that you're making. So this is really powerful, because just like 0 point slows you down and pulls you out of the reality, and you can do 0 point eventually walking around actively once you've got the passive version down. But what this is going to do for you, it's going to make you very aware And it's actually how we operate when we start to do something new that we've never done before. I call it super hyper focused, right? When you first learn to drive your car. I remember when I first went into hot yoga and did my first class. Now, here's the really cool thing about hot yoga. It's the same class over and over and over again. Same positions in the same order for the same amount of time. But when I was learning the positions and learning the order of things, I was very aware. I was watching the people around me. I was really listening to the teacher's instructions. I didn't know what things were called. I probably still can't tell you the fancy names of them all. But because I went back through repetition and I became aware consciously, it got to the point where now I can go to that class and I don't even have to consciously pay attention because the automatic pilot of it takes over the moment that I'm in the room. And I don't have to listen to the instructions because it's this beautiful dance choreography that was always there. I just had to become more and more consciously aware of it by putting myself deeper in the now moment and expanding my consciousness. And as I do the positions, the comments that the conscious mind wants to come in and say, you're doing it wrong, you should do it this way, try this, isn't really needed. Because the less I allowed the echoes to come in, the faster I started to pick up and master the positions. And I was there to feel the sensations, to move the body, to know that I'm the breath that's moving from position to position to position. That's the experience that I wanted to have, not the commentary, the echoes of the conscious mind, who really didn't have a job anymore once I got used to what was going on. So it would use that time to bring in things that weren't needed. And when you become aware that's how it was operating, because I had such a very focused time frame for it, it made me realize how much it was doing it while I was outside moving around 3D reality. And I was so aware of what I was doing that I didn't need the conscious mind's super focused attention. That's when it would bring in all these unwanted echoes. So when you do this, you got one job technique. Now, here's the thing I was alluding to earlier. I want you, between now and our live tomorrow, to set your alarm for every hour on the hour so that you could at least every hour do this at least one time. Because it is a bit much to do it all the time, but it will pay off big time. The more you can bring your attention to this. But I want you, once we're done this video, that whatever you're doing, especially if it's everyday, mundane things that you don't have to think much about, like if you decide right now to go and make a sandwich when we're done, I want you to be aware as you go to stand up, all the different versions of you standing up, right? Because there's all the different versions. As you go to walk and move, how you're moving your head, how you're moving your feet. When you get down to the kitchen, be aware of the version of you that opens the refrigerator, the version of you that searches for what it is you need, the version of you that grabs it, pulls it out. I want you to put things in slow motion so that you're actually feeling yourself touch things differently. You're becoming more and more in the now moment, right? Instead of just picking up the knife to spread the mustard, feel the knife, feel the metal, feel how much effort, how much force that you have to do to spread the mustard, to squeeze the mustard container, to pull the slice of cheese and put the slice of cheese on the bread. I want you to expand your consciousness in the now moment of things that you normally don't have to give a second thought to because you're not thinking. You're feeling and experiencing subconscious thought, which is repetition, actions, movement, sensations. It's not words. And the more that you put your focus on what it is you're doing right now, because that's all that exists is now. There is no past, there is no future. What you're doing is all of reality. There's no earth. Forget if it's flat or round, it doesn't make a difference because all you need is the room that's in front of you and what's in front of you right now. That's all that's needed ever. And if the now moment is the only place where the things that you've asked for show up, And the template that you're in is the one that you're most in most of the time. So where else is it going to show up? Watch what happens, because the more you become present with something that you normally are very surface level because it's so automatic, that you become more and more present in the now moment doing the thing. Same thing with biting and chewing and swallowing. Take your time. Feel the textures in your mouth, right? The version of you that lifts it to your mouth, the version of you that bites it, the version of you that feels it come into your mouth and starts to chew. Don't just chew and swallow. Take extra time with each step, because what it's doing, here's the bypass. You're just becoming aware of what you're doing. But the more you become aware of what you're doing and go deeper into the awareness and expand the awareness in the now moment of it, other things that in that surface level reality were not there, and your mind knows it has your heightened awareness, your super focused attention, that's where superposition comes in, and things start to show up in our reality that it almost feels like you turned your head and you turned it back and it's there. And who knows what it will be, because you've asked for so much. But the more you stay in this heightened state of awareness, and it's not one that, because we normally get there through emotion, right? Either excitement or frustration or anger or sadness, that's a heightened state. Start creating this heightened state through you have one job, being aware of the one jobness of all the movements that you're doing, and that this body that you thought was yours, it's just a template. It's a thing that you're animating with your breath and awareness right now, so that you, as the non-physical higher version of yourself, can play in the 3D reality. And as I said before, you don't have to ask for anything ever again, because you've asked for so much already. This is how you expand the reality from it being more like a 2D type of reality to really becoming a 3-dimensional. Because if you're seeing in 3 dimensions, it means you're at least 1 dimension higher than it, which is that heightened awareness that you have. Because when we're in 5D, we're not necessarily moving around the reality. We're going into that creator mode. 3D is the character, 4D is the hybrid, right? When there's cognitive dissonance, when you're aware in the super awareness, or something pulls you out of your normally scripted routine with a question or something odd happening or being said. And then 5D is when you're in creator mode, when you're just in pure creator mode. So here is this fun thing that you can do, that you have one job. You're the breath of life. The one job is jumping from position, 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 version, 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 version. And every once in a while, you start to realize what's really going on, but it happens so quickly. It's like faster than the Flash in those comic movies. Faster than the Flash. It's happening so fast, like that, that you don't realize. But because you just did that real quick, your consciousness knew how to be the breath of life to animate that and make it all happen. Manifestation is simple, easy, and fun. And if all there ever is here and now, right? Because then and there becomes here and now. If I go across the room, there becomes here once I'm here, there, and then becomes now because it's now. And if the only place that your manifestations can arrive, and that all realities are right here, they're just in 3 different superpositions. We exist on the physical plane, we exist on the mental plane, and we exist in the energetic plane, but we exist there simultaneously. And that's when we go and do an imaginal act, a passive imaginal act. We do it in the mental plane, but they're all equal and important, because if they exist on one, they exist on all. And if you're not seeing it here, now you have another tool of becoming more and more present, not doing this to get something. We're not doing this to make stuff appear. But when you expand, or what we call opening our consciousness, going into that, we call it higher consciousness, it's just consciousness, but it's an expansion because you're more present, right? Present, present gifts. Can't make this up. It's so wonderful. It all just jives together. That's what this is all about. And this is how I help you in the now moment make clear, concise choices so that when you do move through time and space, and you may still be playing with a template that you can't see what it is that you've asked for, it's no longer not there. It's just a matter of bringing more presence and awareness in the now moment and watching this expansion of you beyond thought. It's beyond thought. It's experiential. We want to get you out of the thinking mind and into the experience, because it is the experience that opens up the realities right here. And when we do these bypass techniques, they're so much fun because you're going to see how much more aware you become. You'll also begin to experience and realize more and more of what it is that you've asked for, and how by just becoming more aware through your breath, through your deep breath, through being so aware of the actions that you're doing, that nothing will ever be hidden from you ever again. But you got to slow down, because you are reality. And if you're in a script that has you moving frantically all the time, that's why you're not seeing your results. It's the boss of you. You got to take the reins back. You got to become the source. You are the source of all the breath, of all the movement, of all the action, because of a choice. And now you're becoming more conscious of it in the now moment. Wow, wasn't that amazing? So you have one job as the consciousness, as the breath, is to jump from version to version to version. And it happens so quickly, you don't realize it's happening until you can get to those levels of consciousness where you actually can see it happening. And that's a lot of fun. But now this takes all the pressure, because if there's multiple versions of you completing one little simple task, if there were something to go wrong, which one do you blame? Because there's not just one you. So there's no more need for blame. There's no more need for those lower level realities, when each version of you only has one job. One job. One job. All right, guys, gave it everything I got for you. Thank you again for voting in this community chosen video. We will be doing the next part of this tomorrow during our live 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, it's like a 1-2 punch, but I want you to feel satisfied and complete. I want you to take a moment, take 3 deep breaths, and feel how satisfied it is to now have understood this, to have watched this video, to have done it. And every time you're moving through time and space with this level of awareness, I want you to get excited and feel the satisfaction of this just came in. Instead of looking at reality, you're looking as reality at reality. So it's no longer either at reality or as reality. You're doing both simultaneously. You're in both first person and third person simultaneously, which means it's the conscious mind and the subconscious mind working in harmony with each other. And that is so exciting. All right. Thank you so much. I will have another set of videos for you to vote on for next week. Again, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on, obviously we're on YouTube, on Instagram. Not a whole lot going on there yet, but we're going to be expanding that soon, because our consciousness is expanding just like yours, because we have one job too. And that's to make the most amazing videos, because I do want to see you win big, win all the time. And I am the last manifestation coach you're ever going to need. Enjoy.